In this video, we are going to look at trig identities. These are just an extension of the work that we did in grade 10, which is based on a right-angled triangle. In a right-angled triangle, if this is angle A and the sides are x, y, and r, therefore we said sine of A is the opposite side of a hypotenuse, so sine of this is that over that, and y over r, and cos of an angle is cos adjacent side of a hypotenuse, adjacent side of a hypotenuse, so it's x over r, and tan of an angle is cos opposite side over adjacent, it's an opposite side over an adjacent, which is y over x. So from these we can conclude other things. For instance, what you concluded in grade 10 was that tan of A was the same as taking sine of A dividing by cos of A. And also another one is called the square identity, is that sine squared A plus cos squared A is equals to 1. Note, these angles should be the same, those angles should be same, and that is squared, sine squared A plus cos squared A is equals to 1. From this equation here, we can manipulate it, and then if we like, we can take cos squared A to the other side, and then we'll be left with sine squared A. So we can write that and say, therefore, sine squared A is the same as taking cos squared A to the other side, and then there's 1 minus a cos squared A. And also, if we didn't want to take sine cos squared A to the other side, we would have taken the sine squared A to the other side, and therefore we can say cos squared A is equals to 1 minus a sine squared A. These things are very important because when you are dealing with trig identities, it's easier to simplify the expressions if they are written in simpler forms. Let's look at some of the examples that you will get. Alright, so this is what I have here. Here's the first example. So they want us to simplify the cos theta multiplies by tan of theta. So the easiest way is to simplify things. Note, I've rewritten what was important from previous one, that tan of an angle is the same as sine of an angle divided by cos of an angle. If you look at this one here, I've got tan of an angle. I can change it to a sine of an angle over cos of an angle. So if I were to rewrite this, so this would be the same as saying I've got cos of theta multiplied by, change the tan, it would be the same as sine theta over cos of theta. Now if you look at this, I'm multiplying and these are factors, so I can cancel this factor once, that factor once, and my final answer is 1 times sine theta, which is sine of theta divided by a 1, and the answer is a sine of theta. Let's look at another example. They say simplify 1 minus cos squared theta divided by 1 minus sine squared theta. Now for this one is squeeze. Now if we look at the square identities, we showed that the cos squared theta is same as 1 minus sine squared theta, and the sine squared theta is same as 1 minus cos squared theta. So which means that this thing being given like that, the top thing there can be written as a sine squared theta, and divided by the 1 minus sine squared theta. The 1 minus sine squared is the same as that. So 1 minus sine is cos squared theta. So I've got a cos squared theta. Now, what is this? Remember what we said. We said sine over cos is tan. So this is squared. So this means that this is same as sine theta times the sine of theta, which is divided by cos of theta times the cos of theta. So what are we having? We're having sine theta over cos theta, which is a tan of theta, which is multiplying another sine theta over cos theta, which is another tan of theta. So the answer is tan theta multiplied by tan theta, which is a tan squared theta. That's our answer. Let's look at the third example. they want us to simplify this. And you can see that this is a fraction minus another fraction. So when you simplify fractions, what do you look for? The common denominator. We can see that's a common denominator. It's the same for both of them. So this is the same as writing the common denominator, which is a cos of theta 1 minus a sine squared theta, because cos theta was denominator for both of them. So, but we know what is 1 minus sine squared theta. According to this thing of ours, the 1 minus a sine squared theta is same as cos squared a. So that one there, so it'll be same as a cos squared theta, which is divided by a cos of theta. Now, what is cos squared theta again? It's the same as saying cos of theta multiplied by cos of theta, but it's divided by a cos of theta at the bottom. Now, what can you do? We can cancel this. Goes once there, it goes once there, and therefore our answer is cos theta times 1 divided by 1, which is a cos of theta. Let's look at the last one. Again, you've got a fraction. You've got 1 over sine theta minus cos theta over tan theta. There is a problem because this is tan theta. Remember, we must simplify it and make it something over something. But there'll be a problem because I will have cos theta divided by another fraction. So let us be clever with it. Let's write it as 1 over sine of theta minus a cos of theta, which is divided by tan of theta. Now, to be easier for us to change this, so the answer here is 1 over sine of theta minus a cos of theta, which is that now, which is divided by, now I can change tan theta. Tan a is sine a over cos a. Therefore, tan theta is same as the sine theta over cos of theta. So what are we getting now? So the division sign is same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is 1 over a sine of theta minus a cos of theta, which is multiplied by cos of theta over a sine of theta. Do you see that you cannot cancel here? You see that you cannot cancel there? But we know what is cos theta times cos theta. So the answer there is 1 over a sine of theta minus a cos squared theta over sine theta. Now they've got a common denominator, which is sine theta. So this is same as the common denominator is sine theta. So it's 1 minus cos squared theta. But what is 1 minus cos squared theta? Let's go back. The 1 minus cos squared a is sine squared a. Therefore, 1 minus cos squared theta is the same as a sine squared theta, which is divided by a sine theta. But what is sine squared theta? We know that it's same as saying I've got sine of theta multiplied by the sine of theta, which is divided by a sine theta. So what is our answer? We know that we can cancel the sine theta over there once and the sine theta there for 1. So the sine theta times 1 divided by 1 is sine theta. So our answer here is sine of theta. Easy. So those are the 4 examples that we've gone through, and then for you can try and do these examples, which are from your Siavula textbook, Maths Grade 11, Chapter 6. You do 6.2 Trigonometric Identities, but you do exercise 6.2, just do number 1 only. There are a few examples, about 4 or 5. Should be easy.